let's say you've got a couple that's they've done their discernment. They've, had a good chaste relationship. They've had their struggles, but it seems that God's really calling to marriage. Now it's time for engagement. Any practical pointers on engagement itself in terms of the timing of it? How long should it be? Are you in favor of 9-year engagements? Different things like that. What would you say?
9-year engagements. It's too long. These are great questions. I think, Jason, there's a wise and healthy way to discern. And obviously, the less sexually active the relationship is, the more clarity a couple is going to have. Getting sex involved in a dating relationship is really going to cloud people's judgment and best judgments of, is this person in my life actually someone I could see myself marrying? A great rule of thumb that I've heard before is, if you had, for the girls, the great question is, if you had a future daughter, would you want your future daughter dating or marrying a guy like the one you're dating now? If your gut reaction is, hell to the nah, then there's your answer. But I'll tell you what, you're sleeping around with this guy, it's going to be really hard to get past the bond, the emotional, spiritual, sexual bond that you've created by crossing that boundary. And the same goes for guys. And so, just really striving for chastity can help you discern, being aware of red flags. What are some red flags to look out for? Is this person very possessive and controlling of you? Do they try to keep your family and close friends away from the relationship? Is there any substance abuse? Is there any addiction problems? Is this person addicted to pornography? Is there anything that worries you about your ability to overcome any sort of conflict, right? Is this person physically or emotionally abusive or manipulative? These are red flags. These are flags that you need to not ignore, but to really ask the question, what is going on here? I need to bring this up to this person. I need to think and pray about this. Because you do not want to ignore these things and then get committed to a person like this in marriage, only to come to find out this is what you're going to live with for the rest of your life, or however long the marriage will last, right? And so really being aware, being mindful of any of these sorts of red flags, don't neglect them, talk to people, include your family. Include your family and your close, trusted friends in the discernment process. If they bring up any concerns that they have about this person in your life, I know it can be very easy to get offended or triggered by this sort of criticism. But listen, if they're speaking in your best interest and they love and they care for you, then you should at least consider, okay, what is the feedback here? Sit with it, pray about it, and then move forward or have the conversation. And once you get to that point where you've been dating for a while, perhaps even you've had an argument or two at least. And why is this important? I studied marriage and family therapy, Jason. And, being married people, we can attest just, off the cuff. Marriage takes a lot of work. And naturally, one of the most difficult aspects of marriage is having conflict and resolving it in a healthy way. Right? Because marriage doesn't cure all of it's not this medicine that cures all of your pains and longings and misunderstandings. Rather, marriage especially brings all these issues to the surface, as dating. And so the question too to ask is, have we had an argument about something? How were we able to work through that? How did that go? Okay. And if it was unhealthy, if it was a knockdown, drag out, yelling match, if it was also a red flag to consider, hey, maybe we need to talk about this. Maybe if we're invested, we really care about each other, it wouldn't even hurt to meet with a pastor, a mentor, or even a couples counselor. You don't even have to wait to be married to go to couples counseling to address some of these issues that are coming up. And you're doing this why? Why all this effort? You're doing it ultimately to set yourself up for success, to set yourself up with a healthy foundation so that when you're ready to make that lifelong commitment and plunge, look, engagement is not about one day, The reception hall, the caterer, the colors of the flower. This is not what we're preparing for. We're preparing for the most important journey, one of the most important journeys of our life, our vocation. Okay. So the irony, of course, is that while seminarians get 6-7 years of full-time formation to prepare for the most important vocation choice in their life, couples, yeah, date, have feelings, talk about it, meet with your pastor 4 times, go on a lousy retreat. Okay, good luck. It's like,
Oh.
we need to really do this wisely. And this is, once again, one of the reasons why I created this course, A Catholic Guide to Adulting. We have a section on dating. We have a section on marriage. We have a section on mental health. Just a personal checklist on what do I need to address in my own life so that I can be the best X, Y, and Z that I'm being called to be. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the practical, obviously if you're the guy and you've gone through this checklist and you realize this is a good girl, you prayed about it, you feel the peace and the blessing of the Lord upon you, then yeah, go in it. Just like it was hard to ask her out, it's going to be hard to ask her to marry you. But at the same time, you can go forward with confidence, knowing that indeed, if this is what you're called to do, it's going to work out for your good. Okay. So, don't do it in public in front of the Chick-fil-A, put some effort into making it romantic.
Absolutely. And one thing I think it often gets overlooked is make sure you're the one who's making the choice to ask her out. Meaning it's not, I did a novena and I saw this and therefore I'm going to make this choice because I got that answer in the novena. Hey, novenas are great. I just don't think they're a substitute for discernment. Don't ask. I mean, you want your parents' input, obviously. You want to tap into that wisdom, but don't let anybody decide for you because otherwise, when the storms come, then you're going to want to back out because I chose this because of my parents. I chose this because of God. I chose this because of that. Right. In the end, you must choose. You got to own that decision.